When you aim to break free from preconceived thinking, but
To do so, you lock yourself into a
microcosm of ideas, well, sometimes you end up feeling even more confined.
So, at least this way, I'm not a victim of outside pollution, but I don't know if it's good for my asthma.
When you realize that we're being deceived, that we're being lied to,
Sometimes you start to doubt more and more.
even everything, and in the end, to believe anything.
Oh, no. If that's the mainstream thinking, count me out. And
The concept of,
brushing your teeth. Oh, no way. Count me out.
I'm only able to hang in here because of the filth in his mouth.
But constant opposition also leads you down a slippery slope, always disagreeing with the one who doubts. Well, you end up doubting nothing, and so you end up believing anything.
It's January 7th in Paris, and I'm walking around with my microphone at a Yellow Vests protest.
Here we are with Julian Payne, one of the top French fact-checkers, a real authority.
What's this sign? I see Schwab, Soros, and Bill Gates. Is that right?
Julian Payne. Conspiracy theories are his bread and butter, and when he goes hunting, he doesn't hold back.
What do you blame these three for?
Schwab? He's a private individual who set up an economic forum in Davos. He tells us, for example, you will own nothing, you will be happy.
And it's true. That is indeed part of the forum's predictions. The idea is that all products will become services. You will own nothing, you will rent, you will subscribe, you will use credit, you'll do what you can, but you'll be happy. Schwab is a bit like the bald Nostradamus.
But who avoids risk by just stating the obvious.
Ah yes, I see that in the future we'll eat less meat, dissatisfaction will increase, and the comeback of the turtleneck sweater.
More specifically, he only makes extrapolations by always betting on a continuation of the trend.
Well, only from an economic point of view. If you want, it's kind of like investing for dummies. Well, for dummies who still have quite a bit of money.
Some people will have rights due to their access, while others without access will be left with nothing.
Well, that's a bit vague, and I don't really see where or when he said that. But on the other hand, it's kind of the reality today, in terms of economic disparity. And since Schwab is in favor of a disguised continuity, we'll come back to that. Well, it's not wrong, but it's not groundbreaking either.
He wants to take advantage of COVID to start a new way for society to function.
That's pretty much the pitch of his book, and I bought it. Yeah, when I work on a topic, I'm like Julian Payne, I go all in. But don't do this at home. I only did it because I had to make a video. You can get it for free online, and it's not worth much more.
Basically the philosophy. What do you think of his book called The Great Reset? What's the philosophy of his book? Well,
I reread it this week to stay on topic, and it's boring, you know? A big book full of cliches, for anyone who's even just brushed up against philosophical topics.
This great reset, it's under the pretext of the environment, a conditional freedom.
That's a pretty quick summary though, you know? Even if it is actually one of the themes of the book. For Schwab, a green economy will result from COVID, and on the other hand, health surveillance will persist and intensify. Future technologies will enable us to track our carbon footprint, environmental impact, food choices, and travel habits. But he is cautious and always insists that the loss of freedom is a compromise for our collective and personal well-being and a democratic choice.
do you think they'll use the fight against global warming as an excuse to control society with new measures?
Wait! But that's not what he said at all. He didn't talk about pretending, nor directly about controlling society. That's a bit of an exaggeration there, my Juju.
There you go.
No, but that's good journalism in the end. Julian Perlin Pimpin states what he wants to hear and gets it validated. Well done, really. Same choice.
Bill applauds. All right?
I'm going to try to summarize his book off the cuff. The coronavirus crisis is the lamest pandemic in over 2,000 years, but it's the one with the most impact and the one that's going to trigger the most changes. The main culprit is globalization. But above all, we shouldn't deglobalize. The current capitalism is running out of steam, so we have to keep going the same way, but change the terms. Hashtag green capitalism. We experienced a major failure in global governance, but must keep trying. Those who turned inward found solidarity, but we shouldn't allow that. It's not good. You might say I went too far, but I didn't. His book is full of ideological biases and paradoxes. I could break it all down in another video with excerpts, so I won't get off track here.
At Davos, what do you think they're planning or preparing?
Well, my father Limpimpin, you should research your topic instead of asking random people.
There are directives given to the head of state.
Oh, you heard the editing.
Are given to the head of state.
Besides, it's poorly done. To the head of state. He might have said pretty much the same thing, that's true, but you just don't cut a sentence in the middle. No, it's a bit dishonest.
But we agree on that. So you think that at Davos, they actually give directives to heads of state and business leaders about what the world of tomorrow should be? Yes, that's it.
The World Economic Forum in Davos, where the most influential people in the world go, including our leaders, to, among other things, meet with the world's top experts. Well, I hope that's really to anticipate and see how to make the world of tomorrow better. That would be the least they could do. Oh, but you can also go skiing in Davos. If our great leaders could try to pick up a few ideas while they're there, that would be welcome, right? And then, considering the budget spent over a week...
In the end, it would be a fair exchange.
Ah, to suck or be sucked, such is the erection.
A gem. These texts in German from Pompeii.
It's not ash that's going to end up in your hair. Ja, ich bin ein Meloman.
So the Davos Forum is where all the conspiracies are planned.
Wait, but where did he get all that? Even if the yellow vest didn't use the right words, that's the risk when you get info from the street. He didn't go so far as to talk about the conspiracy, he didn't use the word conspiracy.
Is the future of the people decided behind closed doors?
Oh well, no, the doors aren't closed, it's actually highly publicized, I don't know. I think that Julian, when he's lacking a conspiracy, he's not quite clear-headed.
Don't you have a small conspiracy to present to me? Anything?
Oh no, but I'm Casimir and I don't have time, I'll step in a moment.
The best thing is still to go there in person, so let's head to Davos, a small ski resort perched in the Swiss Alps. That's where the World Economic Forum was born, more than 50 years ago.
Yeah, it was my idea to privatize the ski slopes. Emmanuel Macron often comes for the fresh powder.
The security is impressive, even though it tries to stay discreet.
Oh well, sure, you can't see the sniper on the roof at all, right? And judging by the soldier's skill with that kind of rifle, I don't think the goal was to be discreet. If we see him, it kind of throws off my vibe. I feel like having sex with little girls, but well, thanks. Pedophiles are numerous, but they try to keep a low profile. No, but my Julian, he has his pants down in front of a school.
Inside, the celebrities also prefer to keep a low profile.
The other guy just stands there with his camera. Not discreet at all. That's ridiculous. This president is impressive.
Oh.
Even if he tries to keep a low profile.
To get interviews, I have to go to conferences and try to catch the personalities.
Oh, damn shit, just like a journalist has to do.
That's what I'm trying to do. With Klaus Schwab, this economist created the Davos Forum, and on social media, he's probably the #1 target for conspiracy theorists.
Well, I guess our Julian is going to ask the right questions to clear up the doubts.
He's even accused of having planned a pandemic to better enslave the population.
Sure, everything is said online, but that doesn't mean we should ignore it all. That's where our favorite fact-checker will prove he's done his homework.
I'm a journalist for France's public service.
Wait, but damn, why? Schwab speaks to him in English. He speaks French more fluently than English even. You spend 10 minutes looking him up on the internet. You know that.
We should work together on a global plan.
You're often targeted by fake news, especially about your book, The Greek.
How do you react to all these conspiracy theories?
A journalist who supposedly relies on facts asks a professor an emotional question. Are you being bullied at school? Is it hard?
It makes me
very sad.
Damn it. But Julian?
Most things said about me are false.
He couldn't answer other things, but this is on another level. They say you're mean. Is that true, Arnin? No, it's false. Now what was I saying?
It's a societal problem.
Problem.
How can we make sure that the new technologies we have aren't being misused?
Yeah, but it's always the same problem. Who decides what is proper use and what is misuse? There, you're kind of giving some ammunition to those you're fighting against, aren't you?
I wish that the people who attack the forum or attack me would read more carefully what I write or what I say.
Well, maybe those who defend you should do that too, like Julian, for example, because right now it seems like he doesn't know why he's here. Maybe he's just looking for an internship.
Because almost all the quotes from me that are going around are false.
Not really, but it's true they're often taken out of context.
I was at a protest in France and someone told me that you give orders to heads of state.
That actually you run the world? That's how people see you. Normally, Julian, when you do investigative journalism, well, you shouldn't lead your questions or take sides before you've cross-checked your information. You're allowed to have your opinions, but they shouldn't show too much, otherwise it's propaganda journalism.
That's wishful thinking.
what we provide.
is a platform
Ce que l'on fournit
where
is a platform where everyone can express their opinion.
Yeah, well, you still have to be invited, and it's still the same. All rich, influential people who are really into globalization.
You will never hear a political or economic statement from me.
In any way.
Nothing that could influence political figures.
So, I don't know about Davos, I haven't been there. Maybe next year. But in any case, these books are nothing but political and economic interventions, among other things, in the service of politicians. They aren't giving direct orders, but they're openly trying to influence things as they see fit. I'll help Julian by verifying some facts. In his book, Schwab promotes lockdowns, contact tracing, and says a return to normal is impossible before a vaccine arrives and is widely distributed. Well, why not? Yes, that seems like the most sensible thing to do. What do all the countries that were the most proactive with lockdowns have in common? And all the rest. France, Argentina, the most locked down country in the world, New Zealand, which was one of the fastest and strictest, and many others.
They're countries
That weren't afraid to make decisions, even if it didn't pay off.
in terms of results.
Well, they're still often governed by young global leaders, right? The young, what is that? Sorry, I didn't have time to study up during the trip. I was the one driving. The Young Global Leaders Forum, initiated by Klaus Schwab, aims to create a community of leaders to influence decision making and to help the world deal with increasingly complex and globalized problems. So, Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, Jacinda Ardern, among others, are part of it. And in France, we also have other characters like Gabriel Attal, Marianne Chapa, and Amélie de Montchalin. Julien might just wonder if this isn't about placing a few pawns. That's where the future of the world economy is being decided, and within the main governments. Fake news? Well, even Klaus Schwab boasts about it.
We are very proud of now. It's the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, the President of Argentina, and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. I even know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet, are actually our young global leaders of the world economy.
Grateful. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina.
And it's true in France. With the president, with the Young Global League.
So, it's normal to be influenced by the people you know, especially when you're mentored by someone like Schwab. And maybe it's just a legitimate and beneficial circle of influence like we all have. But we can't just sweep everything under the rug by denying any influence, at least not before doing a minimum of investigation. And that's where you come in.
Julian Klaus Schwab would then just be the organizer of a conference, and the rest would just be fantasy.
Okay, so for Julian, 2 vague answers are enough to take someone's word for it, at least when it suits him. Well, if I want to get my internship, I can't disrespect the master, the internship supervisor. But if he leaves for Switzerland to become bourgeois, we French won't have Julian bread anymore, but then give us Julian brioche, but you'd still have a Tristan Vendée France? Not lacking in charisma? The filling is as good as art, I think, a Julian brioche. And I'm already bourgeois and still here, waiting on the side just in case Tristan dies. No, it's fine. It's good maybe to try to understand why some people, including this yellow vest, have this way of thinking. That would be more constructive than just calling them a conspiracy theorist. I was about to say it, I'm tired of being second. Personally, when I read this book, I found myself a little confused. Klaus Schwab seems to want a better world, more inclusive, more equitable, and respectful of Mother Nature. But his book offers no solid evidence, just empty talk. On the other hand, there are small touches of reality here and there, but not much that is inclusive, equitable, or respectful of Mother Nature. Like when he tells us that since inflation is inevitable, the government's goal will be to gauge how much we're going to complain. Blah, 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 inclusive, blah, 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 respectful. Boom! Inflation. Doesn't that remind you of someone? Because for me, it immediately makes me think of Macron. Big words, big speeches, but in reality, nothing. At least not when it comes to being inclusive, fair, or respectful. But boom! Pension reform is favored by many so-called progressives in government, especially those backed by young global leaders. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Anyway, guys, are you aware? We got yelled at for selling crap. It had to happen sooner or later, so now we're going to have to change everything, the whole storefront, the sign and all that. So, how about painting it green? Any objections, Francois? You don't like green, but you'll make an effort, right? So that's what we'll do, so I can clearly understand what they're saying. But wait, they all have the same business plan? Maybe they're part of the same franchise? Yeah, but they're conspiracy theorists. There's nothing to understand, that's true. Oh, maybe you'll finally let me go now. As for our amazing Julian Payne, I'm going to allow myself to read him a definition. Investigative journalism is characterized by in-depth research on a sensitive subject of general interest, by consulting and cross-checking multiple sources to reveal facts. But as a fact-checker, Julian, you're expected to excel at investigations. Whereas here we can see that you didn't do any research, you didn't cross-check anything, and in the end, well, you didn't reveal any facts. Okay, I agree I didn't really back up my statements either, but I didn't want my video to become, like his book, a real... Glooby Bulga. Oh shit, I missed my moment, damn, you damn shit-filled brioche. If you're interested, I can do it in the next two. Why not one already? To talk about all the biases he has in that book, and then another to keep going with the video, like we do here. Well, if there's enough to spice up a PARADOXA. Feel free to say so in the comments if you're interested in other videos. And for once, I want to say thank you to everyone who comments. It's always a pleasure to read comments that are funny, endearing, outraged, or simply there for the algorithm. Thanks as always to everyone who watches to the end, likes, shares, and tips.